Appreciate you jumping in here. This is essentially going to be week 1 of 16 weeks of productivity coaching. The more, I would say, traditional Keller Williams intentional way to do productivity coaching. So we're going to try to touch on a few things today that we've already gone over, but try to walk away from this today with a purpose and a plan. And we have laid out a very meticulous program for the next 16 weeks to help assist you in getting into production. Also, not just production, but continuing to build growth behind your business so that that production is not just start, stop, that it's continuous for you. So week 1, if you will look at the screen, we have today would be basically taking control or taking command of command. Filling out your profile, making sure that your profile is 100%. Overview of the home page, going over the home page, getting used to it, understanding contacts, how to put them in, creating tasks for yourself on the home page, how to get into smart plans and begin to understand how they work, how the referral system works. We have a referral system built into KW Connect. How do you get into it? How does it work? We're going to go over that. Opportunities. Are you taking what you have in your contacts and are you turning it into opportunities? We have some gas in the tank, but what are we doing with it? Give me 1 second here. I got a screen pop up in office. Okay. Campaigns. Understanding campaigns and getting those set up. Reports. How to pull your own reports. Looking at the design aspect of command. How to utilize and leverage design to assist in your marketing, assist in your lead generation, and a consumer tab. We're going to go over those things, and then we're going to touch on the importance of tags for contacts and opportunities. Any questions or any lack of familiarity with what I just said, speak up now. If there's anything there that you do not recognize or are not familiar with, go ahead and speak up. In room and in room here and online. Anyone. So everybody that's on this call and in this room is familiar with how to get onto command, familiar with their profile, how to load contacts, how to access smart plans, how to access the referral program. Everybody's familiar with that. Yes?
Now, what about the referral system? Everything else I've played around with and kind of familiar with,
Okay.
not the referral stuff.
Okay, that's good. This is Andrew, by the way. Andrew's from our Altoona office, made the trip over today. Referrals. Does anybody else not access the referral platform?
I haven't accessed it, like you and I had like a walkthrough on how to do it, but like my client that I have now was a referral, and I spoke with Bill and said, go ahead and throw him, something. So I do need to figure out how to do that before I get paid.
Good. And the reason and I'm glad Andrew brought it up, because to me, okay, Stacy hasn't accessed it. You guys can, if you're able to turn your mics on and speak up, I want this to be very back and forth. So don't hesitate to jump in. If you're able to jump in verbally with your mics on, go ahead and do so. Okay. But I'm glad Andrew brought that up, because referrals that referral platform is the big question mark. It's not just in PC. We get that a lot. So we will touch on that. We'll probably spend, a good 5 or 8 minutes on that in today's class. And we'll look at command campaigns as well. Okay. So those are the topics. Anything else in that week 1 that you're not familiar with? Is there anything in there that you guys have questions on? Because we'll drill down deeper into some of this stuff if we need to. I have a pretty set plan of what we're going to go over today. Referrals is one of them. And I want to go over some campaign stuff too. Like I said, I want to walk away from today with some action items because you guys are going to be given access to a spreadsheet that is going to have tracking data on it. This tracking data is going to be action items you're going to be responsible for on a weekly basis. We will work together on these things. We, being each and every one of you individually, will meet with me on a weekly basis to go over your action items, your lead generation, and your plan. Okay? So your action items, for instance, are going to be building out your database. We're going to have some action items for you to take there. There's going to be prospecting. There's going to be follow-ups. There's going to be getting to know your market. So they're almost going to be homework assignments. The reality is, even though they make it's a homework assignment, we'll call it that, it's lack of a better term. You're researching and you're putting work into your business. You're investing time and energy into your business. And we're going to be very, very intentional with you guys going forward on making sure you are being intentional with getting yourself into production. And we're going to help you. That's what productivity coaching is designed to do. It's to help get you into production and keep you there. So that is what we're going to do. These are some of the tools that we're going to use to get there. You're also going to be given a binder. Next week, we will have a binder for you guys that will help you with some of these tools on paper. Have a physical copy of something that will help you with note-taking, help you with resources and gaining access to materials faster, on and on and on. So we're really building this thing out to gain an advantage for you guys, to help get you where you want to be. Okay? Any questions so far? No? Any questions? Okay. You'll see week 2 next week. We're going to talk about understanding your goals. We're going to talk about planning, preparing, and initiating. We're going to talk about format. We've gone over that before. Some of you, it'll be a review. But it doesn't hurt to go over these types of things again, making sure that we're jogging your memory, or we're putting into practice and scripting out some of these techniques. And we're going to do a lot of that too over the next 16 weeks. We're going to work together in smaller groups at times to practice our scripts in certain scenarios. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for us as a team to work together on making each other better in that arena as far as scripting. Okay. And we can look ahead into week 3. We can look at those things that we'll get this syllabus out to you guys, the full 16 weeks, so you can see it in all its glory, and kind of prepare. But I want you to stay in the moment. I want you to stay locked in on the one thing that we're focusing on for each individual week. This week, it's command. It's about getting to know and understanding how command works and its different tools. All right, so I'm going to do a screen share. We're going to jump right in. Any questions before we dive in? Mike, thanks for jumping on. Do you have any questions?
Not at this time. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. All right, let me just do a reshare here. That. Okay, so everybody familiar with the home screen? Everybody's familiar with the home screen and how to access your profile. We know where the profile is. It's in a little circle, a little picture there in the top right hand corner. Getting into your profile. Going in, you see your bio, your stats. Your information is key. This information right here, guys. Make sure that your email address in your profile matches your primary contact email for business. Some of us carry 2 email addresses. I know I do. I do a lot of my other business, my company in Altoona on one email address, and I do all my Keller Williams stuff on a separate one. So making sure that that's set up and you have the proper email address. Primary and mobile phone number can be the same. And then your service areas. Make sure your service areas are updated too. Okay, any questions there? You can change the pictures, yes. You can change the banner picture. You can also change the profile picture.
See, mine doesn't have where you have like closed units, listing units. Mine doesn't have that. stuff.
Okay. Go ahead and write that down. If you see anything different, some of it, mine looks a little bit different because I have market center access for certain things as being the coach and TL. So it will look a little bit different, but I want you to jot down anything that you see that you don't recognize with regards to your own page, okay? All right. Back to home. Go through command first because I want to make sure we understand it before we jump over to connect. Creating a task. So let's talk about, we'll talk more about it. We've gone over before block scheduling. We've talked about how to make yourself accountable for your time. Joe taught a very good workshop last month on block scheduling. It works. I use my phone. I don't use command for that. Part of the reason is the mobile app for command has come a long way in the last 9 months. It's still not quite where I like it to be as far as being comfortable using it. I'm an Android person for now, although I'm slowly being convinced I shouldn't be. Yeah, I think it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. But I will use my calendar. I've used it for years. Command is there though to help you create tasks for yourself. If we're getting into the habit of getting on command first thing in the morning. If you're creating that habit for yourself, then this is a viable place for you to create your schedule and hold yourself accountable to it. Creating these tasks in command is a great way to see your business planned and unfolding when you log in. So it is good practice to begin creating, if you're not already using it, begin creating your tasks. Part of that block scheduling with PC, Friday mornings, and I want you to write this down. Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Friday mornings at 9 a.m. We will have a very special Zoom. PC will have its own Zoom room, by the way. So you'll have a very special PC Zoom link we'll use for all things PC. Friday mornings at 9 a.m. from 9 to 11. We are going to get on together and we are going to, we're going to do a very intentional, very strategic strategizing and planning session. We're going to help create and plan your next 7 days. Okay? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to lay out your 7-day plan, creating campaigns for your social media, for your contacts, emails, so on and so forth. So Friday mornings, and I will tell you, I know 9 to 11 is a lot of time. It's 2 hours. I'm doing it now. I started doing it 3-4 weeks ago, where my 9 o'clock, I am on my call with our leadership group. I get out of that and I do about an hour to an hour and a half's worth of planning for the following week. I just decided we're going to do PC. I'm going to bring you guys into it with me. And we're going to do it together. Does that mean you have to be on from 9 to 11? No. This is where I want you guys to be every week. On this call or in this room for PC, so we can have our weekly group meetings and work together. We'll do scripting together. We'll break into small groups and do some role playing. We'll do, we'll talk about our plan for the week and where we're at. But we're going to go over very specific, very intentional topics in this room every week. We will then again recap in the evenings at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays from 7 to 8. We're going to be more intentional and more productive about the discussions we have in the evening regarding your plan for the day, for the next day, what you have laid out, what your intentions and how you're going to be intentional about your next day, and talk about the action items that we have assigned for that week and how we're going to get there. So we have Tuesdays for PC, 1:30 to 2:30, and again in the evenings from 7 to 8. And then Friday morning, we have our creative day, our creative session from 9 to 11. The 9 to 11 window is open. If you're not able to make it in at 9, but you can come in at 10, come in at 10. But I'd like to see you devote a solid 45 minutes to an hour in our group planning your week. Okay? So I wanted to make that window wide enough for you to jump in and devote a pretty decent amount of time to working as a group, to planning your week and creating your plan and creating your actions and activities for the following week. Make sense? It all starts here with tasks. We can put a task in. We can go to your tasks and create right now.
Can I suggest
Please.
something?
Yeah.
So in the vein of Friday mornings, plan your week out for the following week. For the iPhone users, there is an app that I recently downloaded and have really enjoyed. It's called Structured. With the premium version, it's $10, but it's not a subscription. It's just a one-time fee, and then you get all of the premium forever, which I personally really enjoy because I think subscriptions are silly. But with it, it syncs you both your notifications, all of your calendars. You could create standing tasks of like, I don't really have an end date for this, but like at some point this week, I should call my mom. And that's like, you can enter that in that way. It's color coded. You can customize the icons for the different ones. And so mine is fairly bare bones right now, but like, it has like wake up, drive to work, like PC, and then like, anything after hours. And so then you can set them to tasks to repeat daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, all that. And then also it will send you push notifications if you want it to. So like maybe half an hour before, your time block will be like, oh, remember, in half an hour and like 5 minutes before, right before, and it will even let you know like when your time block has ended, be like, oh, just ended, it's this.
Right.
And so then that way, if you happen to be really engrossed in whatever task we're doing, you're like, okay, well, like my time block ended.
Right.
And so like either, just like go on from there. But so I really enjoy it. So even the free version is pretty well laid out. It's just that you can't like sync your calendars and like some other things. But I would highly recommend it. It's definitely helped me as someone who has struggled with time blocking, and like, just kind of figuring out where to start. It's very intuitive as well, so I appreciate that.
Is everybody following along on screen? Thank you, Alana.
Yeah.
With what I'm doing here, creating these tasks. One by one, going in, weekly creative session. It's a high priority for me. It's going to take place on Friday. I'm going to get started at 9. So make note of that for the huddles, the weekly huddles on Fridays. I'll open the room up and then I'll just keep one room going and have the other one. Should we get everybody going? Get them in and started. But for the most part, yeah. And then as Jennifer comes on, you know, we get things moving forward. You know, we'll get moving along. So, but as you can see, weekly creative session, Friday, and that, what does this mean? It means like every week I'm gonna go in and create it? Yes, I am. I'm gonna go in every week on Friday and I'm gonna set up my next week. I'm gonna set up next week's action items and tasks for myself. It's going to be an added layer of accountability for myself. And with as scatterbrained as I can get, and I have a witness in this room that will tell you, Eva, I need block scheduling really, really bad. I need to be held accountable. I need to hold myself accountable. Adding this layer for myself to my routine, okay, to my habits is going to be immensely helpful to making sure that I am every week staying consistent. So even though I have my calendar on my phone and I have my reminders set up and it's great and it works for the most part, it's been working better as the last few weeks have evolved. Adding this to it for me is adding a couple more minutes to my week to make sure that my week is sunk in. I know where I need to be. I know what I need to be doing. Okay, so focusing on creating this habit is going to help keep you accountable to what your tasks are. So look at your open houses that you have coming up, showing appointments that you have coming up, listing appointments, marketing, whatever the task may involve. Get into the practice of utilizing command and make it a priority for yourself to hold yourself accountable to these tasks, okay? Any questions?
I had an aha over the weekend that I actually didn't even get to tell you about yet. So,
Okay,
in regards to time blocking, right? Here's how I started to think about it. When you sell real estate, you are your own boss, right?
Mhm.
You own your own business. And in most businesses, like when you have a job, there's somebody there to manage your time for you. They are doing that. But like, as your own business owner, you have to be responsible for your own time and holding yourself accountable to that time, because otherwise nobody else is going to do that for you. And so if you don't, your business is going to fail in the same way that, you know, a company with bad management is going to fail.
Right.
So you have to manage your business the way a company would manage your business.
yeah. The one analogy that I heard before was when I worked at a W-2 job that required me punching a clock. That was accountability. This is what we're doing. We're creating our punch clock moments. We're for our business. And if there's nobody else to tell me you got to be there to punch in, I'm not going to. Right? So that's why we're adding this layer to this, guys. It's important. It's everything to getting your week productive.
Plus, who doesn't want consistency? Right?
Yeah.
You know?
I do. It's getting like, it's so easy for me to like, oh, I don't feel great today, or I work at 3, so what's the point of coming in, and it took till 11 o'clock to get my dog under control and puppy, and I'm like, oh, okay, another day wasted. Like, it's so easy. It's really hard for me to, I got to think of it like, hey, I need a time that's like,
Right. Don't let
Punch
yourself
clock
get away
moment.
with something
Yeah.
that you wouldn't let an employee you're
Exactly.
playing get away with.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then also, once you fall off track, it's so much harder to get back on track than it is to just, you know, suck it up for a day and be like, okay, I don't want to do this, but it's on the schedule. I gotta get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're creating like a new link for the Zoom, right?
Yes.
Friday, so we'll be able to put it like. in our-
And the little hyperlink spot at the bottom. Yep.
oh,
Yep. The PC link that I'll send out to you guys, we'll actually post it this evening during the class. I'll put it in the chat. in our evening session. And we'll go through setting up tasks again and to make sure everybody has that link in their tasks, okay? So yeah, definitely, absolutely. Any questions on creating tasks, holding yourself accountable for those tasks? Any questions or concerns even? No? Nothing? Is everybody, go ahead and speak up verbally. Is everybody comfortable adding this, if you're not already using it, to your habits?
Yes.
Yes? You guys online, are you guys comfortable adding this to your habits?
I think so.
I didn't hear. Yes?
Yes, I think so.
Yep, Stacy, okay.
Sure, yes.
All right. Josh, are you good with adding this into your habits, your schedule?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, awesome. Any questions on how to do it? It's pretty straightforward, but if you have any issues with the platform or technical problems, let me know so we can get them reported, okay? All right, let's move on to referrals. This tab is the fifth one down from the top. You have it? You have it? Everybody click on it. Does your referral page look like the one that's on the screen? If it doesn't, let me know. But what I want you to do this week, I want you to add 5 agents to your referral pool. Add 5 agents to your referral network this week between now and next Tuesday.
Do they have to be Keller Williams agents?
Yeah. Yeah, it can be in this office, it could be in Johnstown, it could be in Altoona, a mix of either or, whatever. If you know agents that I've actually, a really good friend of mine who I graduated with, who lives down in Florida, just became a KW agent last week. And boom, she's going to my referral network. Love it. That's good stuff. Anybody that you know that's out there that anywhere in the country that's looking for an opportunity to become a real estate agent, don't hesitate to refer them to us, to getting their license or getting them facilitated through to their leadership in their market center. If they're out in Arizona, we have market centers in Arizona. If you know somebody out there who wants to get the real estate license or they thought about it, get them in touch with that representative at that market center in their area. How do you find that? How do you find out who that is? How do we find out who's working where?
Social media.
And
That's how I found out about Keller Williams, an agent in like Florida or something like that, saw my post on Prep Agent,
yeah,
and they private messaged me like, hey, I'm with Keller Williams here, but I can help you get in there,
right.
stuff like that.
Yep. As an agent, though, if you're looking for Keller Williams representatives in specific areas, if you click on the map section and zoom in, give me a city. First one, give me a city. Portland, Oregon, or Maine?
Whichever.
Let's go Portland, Oregon. There's Oregon, there's Portland. Just gonna drag the map over to it, center it, zoom in, tighter. And we're gonna look for market centers. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 market centers. Well, 5, yeah, 5. What do we got here? There's one there. Clicking on the bubble. Portland Center. There's the address for the Portland Center. This is who's there. Gives you the name of their group. You can actually find their group. Show of hands and voices. Who didn't know this was in there? No? How about you guys online? Were you familiar with this?
Only because you showed me, since my sister is going to England and she'll be in a couple months and she'll be looking for a Keller Williams agent to buy their house there.
Yeah. So you can literally go anywhere in the country, zoom in, find a market center. You can search by market centers. You can search by production. This is kind of neat. It'll show you the green dots of where this agent sold. That agent, John Sealing, sold this property over here. Shay Ernest sold this property here. John sold that one. John's busy in the area. As you can see, look at that. Oh, there's 34 there. Let's go down into this. This looks like commercial. No, that's residential. But you see, green dots represent deals that were done. So if you're looking for agent productivity, if you're looking to refer an agent, if you have a client that's moving to Portland, Oregon, and you go out there and look, you can see who's producing and who's not. And you can actually find out what part of the city your client wants to move in, go to that part, zoom in, find an agent that you're interested in referring to that has, based on production, the reputation of being pretty good. You can go right in, find them, and I'll just pick one, and you just hit send an invitation to invite them to your network. Put a message in there. Introduce yourself, where you're from. You have a client that is moving to the Portland area, looking for a house. You can lay it out for them, and then they can accept the invitation. Then you can do a more open line of communication with them at that point. Now you're building your referral network. Now you're building your referral network. That's for your clients. You can do the same thing if you have somebody that you know living in another city that wants to work for KW. What are we doing when we do that? What are we doing when we take that leap and start looking at that opportunity? What are we doing?
Cleaning yourself out from the crowd and they have it the other way around.
You're growing yourself and standing out, and you're growing your profit share opportunities. Okay? You're growing your downline. That passive income that we've talked about before, and we're going to talk a lot more about over the next 16 weeks, and getting more aggressive about building that passive wealth for yourself. Okay? This tool right here helps. Let's say you're a dual career agent and you need a quick referral for somebody in our office, and you're on here. You can find somebody in our office, or if it's somebody in Johnstown, or if it's somebody in Altoona, and you can shoot a text, you can use Facebook, you can put a message out there, so on and so forth. We can also utilize the tools that we have that directly link the agent to each other. We're all connected. Get out of Michigan. Nobody likes Michigan. I'm kidding. Anybody who watches this from Michigan, I'm joking.
No, it's true.
Ooh, she says.
Just get a OH real loud.
So let's scooch on over here to Johnstown. Come on. So much production. There you see Johnstown. And you have agents working. Look at that. Diane's a great agent, great example of a very hardworking, high-producing agent in our Johnstown office. If anybody needs anything in Johnstown, Diane is a good one. Fran is a good source in Johnstown as well. But you can click on here. I'm going to add her to my network. I already have Mike. We work together. Good afternoon. Finally decided to add you to my network. Now, I have a good rapport with her. So we'll put a little message on there. Send an invitation over to her. Now, training moment for Diana is going to be, is she checking that? We'll find out. We get a response. Okay? Any questions on the referral tool? Utilizing this piece to leverage out. Again, if you're a dual career agent and you're busy and you can't get anybody in the office, you can't reach out, send it through here. Make that extra contact. Make sure it's getting through.
What is a referral broadcast? Like, so it says, like, it gave me the option of here.
It's you're sending a broadcast, you're just sending a reach to them. You're reaching out. Yeah, you're broadcasting a signal to them that you want to add them to your network.
So,
Yeah.
more than one.
You can do more than one. Yeah. Yep. So add these referrals in, get them part of your network. I was talking to a gentleman at leadership camp in April, and he kept saying this over and over again. This is a guy that's in lead generation. He's not in real estate directly, but he kept using a term that kept standing out to me. And he was referring to successful agents, nationally known, renowned agents from bigger markets, Phoenix, Los Angeles, on and on and on. And he kept saying national network. They've built a national network for themselves. They've built a national network for themselves. That's a heck of a statement. I have friends in Houston area, all over Texas, some in Florida, some in the Chicagoland area. I need to start leveraging that more and start utilizing that mindset. We get so stuck on this idea that we're licensed in Pennsylvania and we're on this MLS and that's our world. It's a whole world out there. And we have a tool in front of us that allows us to access and create a network of agents to help our business grow and thrive. Referrals still generate revenue. Referrals are still a revenue base for your, a revenue source for your business. And if you're, again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but if you're a dual career agent, there's nothing more powerful than repeat referral business for yourself. If you can refer that client out, or a client out, or several clients out, on and on and on and on and on, you're actually creating almost a nearly passive income for yourself. And if that network gets, as you grow that network and you work with these agents, the more frequently you work with them, the more rapport you have, they're going to send it back your way. They're going to be more apt to sending it your way. Build the network. We're starting to recruit agents in other markets using this tool. Okay? So it works so many different ways to help you build your business and build your wealth. Build your wealth up. Any questions on how to use this tool?
So this is great for sending an invitation,
Yep.
getting a referral. Now, what happens after somebody accepts a referral? I'm guessing I just wait, and once they complete the transaction, I'll get cut a check. Do I need to go into the MLS? How do you go through and say I was referred by somebody?
Right. So that would be
Contact?
right. So that's a great question. So every MLSs, some in different states have forms. We have a form in Pennsylvania, PAR, that is a referral form. Spells out the referral, puts it in writing. You can draft one, upload it into the referral program platform, send it to the client, send it to the agent. Now you have an in writing agreement. Okay. That's a great question.
So like, Bill didn't send me one.
No, he didn't. I already talked to him about
So can I create one?
it. Absolutely. I would love it if you did.
Okay.
I would love it if you did.
I've sent something to him a couple times.
I know. I love Bill. Bill's never gonna watch this, but I love Bill.
Well, I just sent him a
Referral request?
Yeah.
It'll be me answering it.
Oh, okay.
It will. Bill's, he's not gonna leverage command. He's just not. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna help him build his business, so. Any questions on the referral tool in command? Any questions? Any questions? Any takers on questions? No. Okay, so with 15 minutes to go, and this is going to be the going rate going forward, guys. We're going to spend the last 15 minutes setting up our agenda for the week, what we're going to take action on, and going over scripts. Whole plan. First and foremost, calls. How many here have taken a lead call? General lead client calls you, saw your business card, whatever, called, said, I'm interested in looking at a house. I know Andrew asked, we did one on the way over.
I've
None
made
yet.
a call, not necessarily like answered one.
Okay, you haven't had an inbound call that you've answered and said, it's been somebody looking to get real
Not
estate?
that I didn't know.
We're gonna change that. Okay? We're gonna change that. As a matter of fact, we're gonna set a goal right now for you. By the end of June, we're gonna put you in a position to field at least 5 inbound calls for leads. Okay? Okay? All right. Josh, how about you? How are you making out on your lead gen front? Are you getting any inbound calls?
No, not any inbound calls lately.
Okay. How long have you had that set up?
What do you mean?
Do you still have the vending machine thing you're doing?
Oh yeah, I have another one now. I have 2 of them.
How long have they been in operation?
Oh, I got one in April and I got another one in May.
Okay, so you've got about probably what, 8 weeks on the one?
Yep,
Okay, no calls from it yet.
none.
Did you put the business cards on the side to track activity?
No, I didn't do that yet. I just have the magnetic business card on the side of the machine.
Okay, so let's make this goal for you, Josh. Let's look at that lead capture opportunity and see if we can tweak it to help you generate some leads off of that. Okay.
Yes. I've been meaning to get the business card holder. I think I'm gonna make sure I do that by the end of the week when I fill the machine up.
Okay. All right.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
About the referral part when you were saying you upload the referral onto the KW command. How do you do that again?
As far as uploading a referral?
Yeah, it's like the actual document to give to
Well,
another
you
agent.
can upload it. You can upload it, or you can send it via email. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, you want to make that initial contact. We're finding the agents, we're making that initial contact. Now we've got, their email address. Once they've responded, you can go into Connect White Pages. We'll teach you how to do that and find whomever you're looking for if you didn't get their contact information or whatever. But we can go over that tonight. We'll touch on that tonight, how to use White Pages. So if you have command between now and 7 o'clock tonight, you're able to join us tonight, go into the White Pages and let's talk about using that tool and getting used to using that tool to find agent contact information, okay? Not overly, a big thing for production, but just getting used to using the tools and getting used to using Connect. For you, Josh, let's look at the end of June. Let's get that lead generation that lead generation tool you have set up. I'm glad to hear that you have a second one going. Let's get those business cards on the side and start tracking that baby. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then we're gonna enhance that as we go forward, Josh. We're gonna enhance that lead because I'm a big believer in that tool, and it's actually one I'm considering investing in myself out in Altoona. So I love that tool and I want to see how it works. I'm going to see you get into production using that tool. Back on answering calls, inbound calls. When you take an inbound lead call, and Andrew heard me take one on the way over, and I wanted to do that. I'm glad it happened. It was just a coincidence. Let's take these last 10 minutes and talk about what needs to be accomplished on that phone call. Okay? We need to establish who we are, be clear and concise on our introduction. We're answering our phone, our cell phone. How many do it? I do it. How many answer their phone? Not knowing who it is. We go, yellow. Yellow.
I've been trying to say, this is one. Just so we know.
Right? I do it all the time. I should stop doing it, right? So it's more professional. We gotta get in the habit of answering those calls that this is gonna be another spam call, and then we swipe it. You don't know if it is. That's the crappy part, right? We have to answer those calls we don't recognize because it could be your next big sale. We have to answer those calls. So we answer that call clear and concise. Good afternoon, this is Doug. How can I help you? Or good afternoon, this is Doug with Keller Williams. Leave it open, let them introduce themselves, or if they don't introduce it, before they go forward, before you progress the conversation, what do we do, Andrew? When I've introduced myself, what's the next goal?
I see if they're working with an agent.
Before that, yes, get their name. Who are you talking to? It's so easy to get through a call without even establishing who you're talking to. We've talked about it. We're going to talk about it next week. And when we create the conversation, get their name, use their name. Say, get their name, use their name. So now we've got the name. Now what do we want to do? You already said it.
Yep.
We want to establish if they're working with another agent. Okay?
and
So
if
that's
not,
step 2. What's that?
And if they're not, free.
That's right. Yeah, don't hesitate. Establish if they're already working with another agent. Even if they called you from a business card or a sign, don't take for granted that they may not have already looked at a house with another agent. Or worse yet, signed a contract. So establish that right out of the gate. Are you working with another agent? Are you currently working with another agent? No? Great. I'd be happy to help you. What can I do for you today? Establish a track of business. Track of business. I'm interested in seeing blankety blank blank, or I'm interested in listing my house at 123 Main Street. Excellent. I can certainly help you with that. Reassurance. Reassurance. Whatever business path they present to you, reassure them that they made the right phone call. Yes, indeed, I can certainly help you with that. Upbeat, positive. Anybody remember, this is going back 12 weeks, 13, 14 weeks, creating the conversation. That's funny. Who can tell? That's funny. That's my warning, over 5-minute warning. Who can tell me one of my rules about talking on the phone? What should you do? What should you always be doing when you're talking on the phone?
Smile.
Smiling. That's right. Smile. Believe it or not, you can hear the difference.
Yeah.
You can certainly hear the difference. Okay? So we've established who they are, established a track of business, we've applied some reassurance, we're upbeat, we're positive. Now that we've established all of those things, what can we do verbally, or as PAR likes to say, orally, next? What's the next step?
Consumer notice.
Consumer notice. Who here does not have a copy of the oral version of the consumer notice? If you don't, parealtors.org or your MLS, your zip forms, wherever you get your documents, search for consumer notice, and you'll see an oral version if your MLS is uploaded.
Now, yeah, is the oral version something that's required to be said verbatim, or is it just, okay,
No, it says everything you should say, but you can look at that oral version.
paraphrase and
you
all
can-
me?
Absolutely, as long as you're covering, we've talked about cutting the fat before, right?
Yep.
It's what you're doing. You look at that thing, take a highlighter and highlight those words, and we can go over that. We're gonna do it next week. We're gonna be talking about creating the conversation again next week. We're really gonna dive into role playing and scripting. Please don't be scared to show up for that. It's so important. I was never a big fan of role playing either, but it helps. So please mark your calendars, create your task, join us next week in here. Be in office if you can. Try to be in office every week that you can for PC going forward, okay? Try to make it an effort to be here every week for PC in person for the afternoon session. The evening's a little more casual, but we're still going to be intentional. We're still going to have very intentional discussions, very intentional tasks that we're going to look at accomplishing, okay? Now that we've laid out the consumer notice, what do we do next? We can actually do that before the consumer notice, but yes, that's the answer. Yes, you definitely want to get the appointment set. Set your appointment. Set your appointment. Get a firm window of time of their availability. How can we set expectations or boundaries at this moment by doing this? How can we go about setting boundaries and expectations with our client? Really almost without them knowing.
Maybe give them your business hours and 11 o'clock at night.
You could go that route, and some do. Right, some do. Another way is, what's a good window of time for you to see 123 Main Street? Or, as Andrew heard me say today, this client wanted to get in to see it tonight. Listen, I don't know if we can make that happen. What's your availability like throughout the week and weekend? Get the whole thing. Now you've established their availability. They work too, hopefully, right? If not, the pre-qualification process is going to be a short conversation.
I already messed up with one client. I offered like, hey, what's your availability Monday or Tuesday, either at noon or 2 o'clock, either of those days. And they're like, well, I really can't do it till after 4. I don't know. Like, well, we can figure that out, not a problem. But I offered like a small window, thinking smaller window, they don't have a lot to think about. Okay, I've got 2 options. Which one do I want? Thought it'd be simpler for them. It's not. I need to do exactly what you do. What's your availability? I will work around that.
Right. But you will work around that. But now we're talking about setting expectations. We're talking about setting boundaries. So here's where we're going to do that. They've given you their schedule. We'll use that example that we had today. I'm available after 6 pretty much any day of the week. Translation of that is I'm available after 6, but only on certain days. Pin them down. Pin them down. Right? What days specifically would you be available this coming week over the next 5 days? Narrow the window. Now, when they tell you today's Tuesday, I could do tomorrow, really pretty much, as he said, pretty much anytime this week after 6. Okay? Now, this was a different scenario because it was going to be yours. I was handing it off to you. You told me you were available. So here's where I would set boundaries. Okay, so tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, you're available after 6, correct? Yes. Okay. Thursday, I see. Thursday might not work. How about tomorrow? We do 6:30.
What I normally do is tell them like, you tell me what works for you besides this day, this day, and this day.
Mhm.
I'm available any other days. You know, I set my schedule to them first and
Sure.
then ask them what they're available with outside of that.
Sure. You can do it either. Look, guys, there's statistics and there's, psychological profiles and all that nonsense about, it's in the moment. It's in the moment, right? No one can predict how a person's feeling in a specific moment. So how you approach it is fine. If you're giving them, listen, typically I'm not available these hours and these days. I'll tell you what, and if you're not available that match their schedule, what do we do next? If that person can only be, for some reason, is only available during those windows that you're not, what do we do?
I would try to find somebody to show them the house at least.
Not a big deal. Absolutely. Not a big deal, right? It's a reassurance again. We're back to that reassurance piece. Awesome. We have 85 agents in our office. That's the great news. What's even better is I know I'm going to find one that's going to be a good match to help you with that showing on Thursday at 4 o'clock, right? Reassurance, smiling the whole time. Not disappointment that you can't do it because you're still getting something done. You're still producing. Don't let that defeat the end game. Don't let that be the narrative of your story. All right. So yes, lay those times out, set those boundaries, set the appointment. What do we do next?
Send them an email on DocuSign, a consumer notice to make sure that they know how to use DocuSign.
You can do that. You can set that expectation. I will need your email address. We're going to do, as you may know, technology has advanced to where we're now able to e-sign. You can do two things by bringing that up in this call. One, you can establish how technologically savvy they are or are not. Two, trust factor, right? So you can this is a good dig on rapport building. You can dive into it here if you're comfortable doing so. You've done the oral one, the verbal, that's done. So if you want to go that route, you can. I would more or less shift to a recap at this point.
Shouldn't we ask for a, hey, can you send me your pre-approval notice as well, or letter as well?
We don't have to do that anymore, but we want to establish if they're working with a bank. So, right. So before we do that, before we establish, so we've now set the boundaries, set the schedule, got the appointment. Now we want to recap what they're looking for. 123 Main Street has certain features. Does this match, where you want to be? Or is there anything in this particular house that you notice at first glance that is missing something so I can broaden my search for you? We're recapping what they are looking at. Now we're diving into a little bit of needs analysis. We're not going to go into the weeds. We just want to make sure they know you're going to do something for them, right? This house at 123 Main Street features 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Is that what you're looking for primarily? Yes. Great. Price range is okay? Yes. Now, what is the most sensible transition from that question and answer? Price range is good? Yes, we're looking at 80 to 105. What's the next question?
Area.
Are you working with a lender? Are you working with a lender? Stay away from area. Stay away from area for now, because if you get, that's a slippery slope. Anybody who took their continuing ed and really paid attention to the fair housing piece, it's a slippery slope. It can get a little dark. It can get a little bit deep there. I would wait to touch on area. Get the lend. Now you want to pre-qualify. Have you worked with a mortgage lender? No. Great. I have a suggestion for you. We have a lender in-house here in Pittsburgh, in our office. He's great. I'll give you his name. When we hang up, I'm going to send you my information from my personal phone so that you can reach me between the hours of blank and blank, between blank and blank day. Now you set the expectation. Now they know that they're going to be able to contact you directly, and you're going to be able to start sharing information with them to help them pursue their real estate goals. Okay? We've done, just in that 30 seconds, we've knocked out 3 things.
Yeah.
I'm sending you my information from my phone so you can contact me at this time. So we're setting boundaries, and I'm going to get you information on a lender. Now, I'm not steering Because I'm not telling that client, you have to use this lender. This is merely a suggestion. This is merely a suggestion.
That's what I was kind of thinking with the area, like I wouldn't assume that. Oh,
Well, I know you,
like,
yeah, I know you
you know,
would, yeah. But area,
You got kids in school that you have to stay in their school district or.
yeah, that's a good point. Area, you can get deeper on needs analysis either later in the call.
Right.
But if you only have 2 or 3 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes, we want to make sure introduction, getting their information in that introduction, establishing their availability of not working with another agent, their independence as a consumer, establishing the parameters of the consumer notice, establishing their look as far as what they're looking at, their business track. Okay, setting boundaries, setting appointment, providing information, sharing information, recapping, setting the appointment again, right? Close the call. Close the call.
And thank them for,
Yeah. Don't hang up on them.
yeah.
That happens. Laugh, but it happens. All right. That's the layout of a phone call. What I want you to do between now and 7 o'clock tonight, take this 5 to 7 minutes we went over, 10 minutes we went over a call. Work on it. Go into Connect, search for scripts. If you don't know how to do that, let me know tonight. And that's going to be one of the things we'll cover tonight, diving into controlling command. But I want to script a phone call tonight. We're going to role play a phone call tonight on our evening session. Okay? I know some of you can't make it, that's fine. But we will role play, it will be recorded. We're going to utilize the recordings and use them as a learning tool going forward. I'm using them as a learning tool going forward to help me become a better presenter for you guys. So we're going to use them in our class to help us work on picking up where we left off or digging down deeper into a specific topic. Okay? Any questions? Okay, this is day 1, week 1 of what is going to be a very important 16 weeks stretch for everybody on this call and in this room, yours truly included. My goal is to make sure that we have you guys producing in production in more than one transaction. My goal is to have everybody that's on this call, in this room, on this class, working on their 3rd, maybe 4th contract by the time we wrap up in September. It may seem like a long way away, but understand something. It is June 7th. We are 1 week away from July being over. Think about that. July's over in a week on most transactions, 45 days, right? So September's not that far away. Yeah, right. September's not that far away. So tonight, your action item, make sure you look at script ideas for phone calls. There's ones for scripting objections. There's one for outbounds. There's one for inbound. Look specifically at inbound calls. And we're going to role play those inbound calls tonight. Why? Because it's my goal to have you guys receiving lead calls from your lead gen sources that we are going to be building over the next 16 weeks. Yeah, there's a script. Yeah, there's a script book here. Yep.
Can I plug then?
Yeah,
Am I
plug it.
allowed?
Plug it,
Okay.
yeah.
So, also on Friday, is our Grow With Us class. It's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. Teaching it, well, more or less hosting. It's going to be me and Chris Keller, and then possibly Eva as well. Oh, sorry, one sec. Hi there.
All right, guys. I don't want to steal her thunder, but I know we've got a lot of people that are on a time crunch. We've run over. We started about 10 minutes late, so we're running a little bit behind. I appreciate you jumping on today. I hope that we will get a chance to sit down next week together. If you can make an effort to be here in person, I would truly, truly appreciate it. because it's important to me that I have everything I can get and have resource-wise, and that includes the ability to be able to meet with you face-to-face, get on the same page, and give you the tools that you need so we can start getting this production train going for you. Okay, so please try to be here next week. Go ahead and finish up, Alana.
Grow with Us class. It's this Friday. We will be going over specifically scripts from the script book from Ignite. It's on KW Connect. Don't do the French Canadian version of it because I almost printed that one first. So there's lead generation scripts, and then like I have the channel contents at the beginning, you know, scripts for working with buyers, sellers, making and receiving offers, negotiations. So it has everything. It's super in depth. It's 64 pages long, but it's very plug and play with kind of like, you know, the way to be the most efficient, but still seeming personable to your client. So we're gonna do that. We're also going to paint little clay pots. So if you want to do that, because it's Grow With Us, we're gonna plan some plans. We're gonna do some scripts. It's being hosted by AGM. So Carrie Ann and Todd will be here to talk a little bit as well, just about kind of mortgages and stuff. So yeah, we got that. So if you want extra help,